Have you ever wondered why your competitor keep getting user on LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, SEO? So here's the wild part. You can actually reverse engineer their entire organic go-to-market strategy completely automatically. What used to take 20 hours of manual research now runs on autopilot thanks to simple AI workflows in under 10 minutes, which is exactly what we're building today. And the craziest part is that it doesn't require any coding skills. It doesn't require any tech skills at all, really. You just need a Google Sheet connection. And for today's AI agent building, we will use Relay app, right? Which is actually the simplest way to build AI agents if you have never done it. In the next 15 to 20 minutes, we will build together a fully working system that scrapes your competitor content, analyzes their SEO, checks their TikTok and YouTube performance, and then compiles and emails you a full report. And the results are honestly just really, really good. This flow went viral on LinkedIn, so I decided to bring it here too in a more complete format where I will actually guide you through every step on how to build it. By the end of the video, you have your own AI-powered dashboard. You can either build it with me directly live, or you can check the link for the template which I built and start from the template already. I'll put it down in the description. So why does this matter? Because every top creator, every top brand you admire has an invisible playbook. Their content cadres, their message pillars, the timing are data patterns which are actually hiding in plain sight, right? Everything is available, just a very large amount of data points. What this workflow does, what the workflow we are about to build does, is it surfaces those patterns automatically, and then it combines it. Before we learn how to build this flow together, let's see what are the end results. So you have an idea what you'll have at the end of this session. This is the flow we will build. You can see here, the flow has two sample company. One is Relay app, which is this tool which you're using today to build this agent, and then Instantly, which is another go-to-market software, which is very, very popular, right? We have inserted here the URL, the founders, LinkedIn, the company Twitter, the company blog, and their YouTube, right? So the agent know exactly where to go look for the information we are looking for. We have them prompted per practice to do research. We have connected LinkedIn so we can search more specifically their LinkedIn post, and then we have summarized all of the results. Let's go check it. We'll see much more in detail, so don't worry now. I just want to show you what to expect from this. If I open the results of a try and run which we've done, this is what we'll end up having, right? So the competitor name is Relay app, which is one of the two apps which we decided to use for this workflow. We have here this LinkedIn strategy. What it says is, for Relay, it says it's a primary growth engine. It's founder-led, personality-driven. The account is the one from Jacob Bern, who has over 25,000 followers and grew over 5,000 in the last 90 days. Their posting cadence is 5 to 6 posts per week, 80% educational content, 20% personal and storytelling. The content format and hacks, he basically only work with text, hook, narrative, and then we can see their engagement proof, funnel designs, community building, team enablement, paid ads, and you'll find approximately the same data points also about their YouTube strategy, for example. Two separate channels, private and company one. It says the same about their Twitter strategy, the TikTok strategy. It says, for example, here that there's no brand or founder-led present discovers, and then SEO analysis. It will do the same for every competitor you're selected, right? So here we have only inserted 2 examples, but you could have 10, 20, depending on how many competitors are really relevant for you. And it will surface all of these data points for every competitor which you have selected. Before we get to the building part, let me give you a little bit of context. Hi, I'm Pietro. I run for an AI automation agency where we develop custom integration and flows for businesses. To receive all of the information and everything we build, please follow us on LinkedIn, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and subscribe to our newsletter. I will insert all of the links below. In the same description of this video, you'll also find all of the resources which are relevant for this video. You'll find also templates, so if you don't want to build with me but just follow along and then rebuild it later starting from an existing template, you'll be absolutely able to. We finally made it to the building part. Everything else I'm not really comfortable with. This is one of my first YouTube videos, but this part I am very confident what we're gonna build is actually super cool, and I'm confident it will impress you. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open Relay app, which is the tool we're using for today's build. I will insert the link in the description. You will go to new workflow. You see here, I have a bunch of stuff because I've been building on Relay a lot recently. But everything you need to do really is start a new workflow. Right, once you start a new workflow, you see the first thing you will be prompted to do is insert a trigger. What is a trigger? The trigger is what tells the specific agent we're about to build when it has to start, right? So if I click plus trigger, we see a trigger can be manual. So the flow which we're gonna build will start every time I click a button manually. It can be scheduled, for example, which is what we're gonna do for this specific flow, right? So for example, we want this flow to run once a month, every 15th of the month. This trigger will activate every 15th of the month at 8 a.m. While we build, I will also insert few notes in the flow, so it's easier for you to follow along. So the first thing we're gonna do is here, as we're gonna create your competitor list. Competitor list, insert here. So what this does is basically it informs the AI agent which are the competitor which we want to track and which are important for us. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to utilities. We're going to need create a table of cost. What this does is basically create a table within this flow so we can insert the information about the competitor which we want to track for this specific flow. So the information we want are the competitor name, which is a text. Then we want the competitor URL, set here URL, is here. Then we want the founder, there, make a big URL. You can use the founder. For this example, I'm using the founder, but you can also use the company, or you can also use both. Then we're gonna use the head, and then we're gonna select log. Final one, we're gonna hide the company. Right, so we have inserted all of this information. Now we have to fit them. We'll use only one example here. I actually have already prepared, so I don't lose too much time. What I'm doing is basically I'm inserting here the information about the company. I'm inserting now the information about Relay, which is the tool we're using today, just so that we can get a good example about what we're doing, about the company, which I know for a fact is active on these specific channels. So I'm just copy pasting links here so that the agent has one example to run with. Perfect. So once this is done, we have set the first step. We have created a table. We could also connect an external table. For example, if you already have a competitor table built on Google, you can connect directly to that. Just make it simple so we don't have to have external connection and we have everything that matters already here. The next step, and I'm gonna make another note, you don't have to do this, it's just to give the flow order, is analyze each competitor, right? This is the core of the agents we're gonna build, and it's basically the research process we're going to. So we're gonna build an iterator. What is an iterator? Ideally, here in the company table, what we have is set our competitor would have multiple players, right? We usually don't have only one competitor. We have multiple of them, which we are interested in tracking. So we will want to iterate to every line on this table to do specific in-depth research about each player. And how we do this is through an iterator. An iterator, as it says here, it loops over a list. So it takes the first item of the list, in this case Relay.app, and it will perform all of this steps for the first item. Then it will go to the second item, our second competitor. It will perform all of the steps included in this iterator for that specific competitor. The first thing to do when we create an iterator is connect it to a list. In this case, the only list we have available we see is step 2, which is the table of constant. Perfect. So we said we want to run this step for every item in the list. Yes, absolutely. Once this is done, we start setting the flow. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to Perplexity, which I found to be the best solution for complex research. And we're going to select for this specific model Perplexity Sonar Reasoning Flow, right? Every model has a different different feature. You can see here, for example, really is really good because it gives you an idea of how much you spend with each. For example, deep research is really expensive. You only want to use it when you really need in-depth. In this case, we're using Perplexity Solar Reasoning Pro, which is significantly cheaper than research, but is also very deep. Why are we selecting Perplexity instead of OpenAI or X, for example? Perplexity natively supports live online search lookups, so it makes it very simple to look for live information on the web, which is why it's always my top choice for research tasks. Once we have selected Perplexity Sonar Search, Perplexity Sonar Reasoning Pro, we're gonna paste a prompt. The prompt is gonna be the heart of what this agent does. I have the prompt ready. I will paste it here. Once again, you can look this template within the template, which is linked below in the description. So you have access direct to all of this prompt, right? But I will also read it through to give you an idea on what is included in the prompt, right? So the prompt says your competitive analysis agent tasked with reverse engineering the go-to-market strategy of, and here, since I copy-pasted, didn't take it, we're gonna have to link the information about the competitor, right? So how you link the specific dynamic information to a prompt is with an @ So what I'm gonna do, and I'm gonna do it again slower to show you, it's gonna type @ it will open up a pop-up menu and it will prompt you to insert information about this competitor, right? So what I'm gonna tell him now is I wanna find the go-to-market strategy for this competitor for which we're iterating, found @ and then I'm gonna go to the URL, the company URL. The list of channels which we are interested in analyzing here is the following one, and I put LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, SEO, and blog. For each channel, state whether or not the competitor is using it. If yes, provide specific examples or evidence, website content, ads, partnership stake here, social media activity. If no, briefly mention why you think it's not being used, this specific channel. Return your finds a clear, well-organized report. Idea is a table or bullet list group by the 5 listed channels. The goal is to gain a detailed picture of the competitor's go-to-market strategy and identify what's working with them. So this is a prompt which I narrowed down before this session, which I saw was working very well. And I'm sure there are other prompts that will achieve the same goal, and you can definitely customize it to your liking and what is most important for you. Once we have done this, the only thing we have to do is set that. And this research step, which is the heart of our flow, is ready to go. Now, for each of the channel which we have set up in the previous prompt, so YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, and so on, we could have also a deeper search connecting directly with the platform. Just to exemplify how it works, we'll do one deeper search on LinkedIn, but you can repeat the step we'll do on LinkedIn for any other platform, which is mostly interesting for you. For example, you know that YouTube is a key channel in your sector, you'll do it on YouTube, right? So it has not only wide Google research and internet research, but it also has key research on the specific platform, which is interesting. Let me show you how directly with LinkedIn. So with LinkedIn, we have included, let me type LinkedIn here. We have included the founder LinkedIn in this example, right? So we're gonna go here and type LinkedIn and find get LinkedIn person post. So what this is gonna do is it's gonna find all of the posts about the specific person which we're gonna indicate, right? How does the LinkedIn step 5 find the URL of a person LinkedIn to look for the post? As it's gonna have to go to the row, to our initial table which we built, and go to founder LinkedIn URL, where we provided the URL of the LinkedIn of the founder, right? Which post we want? We want the most recent post and the maximum number of, let's say, 5 for this example. Actually, no, let's leave it to 10. If no posts are found, continue without results. Yes, sure. So what we have done here is we have done a generic research using Perplexity, and then we've done an additional step where a more specific research was done on a platform which is specifically important in our sector, which is LinkedIn, right? So we're gonna go to the company post and to the company page and to the founders page, and we're gonna take their latest post to make sure we have also more live data about what they're doing and what they're posting about. The last step of this flow We're now getting to the last within this core iterator within this AI agent flow, and it's going to be a step we'll use to reorganize the information. Perplexity will have found a lot of information. We have then queried all the LinkedIn posts. We want one agent to take all of this information and reorganize them in organized manner. Right? So what we're going to do is we're going to go here and select, we want a step which is AI. We want an agent, and we want to be using for this step OpenAI 03. OpenAI 03, I found it incredibly effective in organizing information, so I always use this for this kind of steps. For example, to make it simple for you to understand, when I want my results to be included in a Google Sheet after, I use O3 to reorganize them before. So I make sure everything compartmentalized where it should be. Right, so we're gonna go ahead and select this model. Like we did before, I'm gonna copy the prompt, which I have already selected, and paste it here. What I'm telling you is exactly what I described now. Take all of the information from previous steps and reorganize them so that the results are pushed out in this format. Now, key pieces of information when we work with Relay is we always have to make sure that the agent, that the AI step have access to the information we need. For example, naturally, it will already prompt it to have access to the previous step. So this AI has access to end post, which mention the step 5 where we queried the LinkedIn post. It doesn't have access to the perplexity step as of now, right? So it's really, really important that we give this agent access to that step as well. Otherwise, it won't be able to use those information, right? So this is key information 1. Always, always, always make sure that the agent you're using has access to the right information, which it should have access to. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to work with the output format. We see that if we have auto-generate on, which by default it's already on, the AI will generate some fields for your output, but not always the field would be the perfect one which you need. For example, for this specific agent, I want one additional field. I also want every result to have a field, a text field, which is the competitor name. So I can have this information included in a table which I want to create with these results. So I'm going to go ahead and create done. You see all of my fields are organized. This is how I'm going to have the results, so I can include them in a table after. And this is the information my agent has access to. I'm going to click go ahead. And now it's important that you check that all of these steps are included within the iterator. You see this slightly, let me actually make it a bit bigger for you. This slightly bigger box, this slightly darker box, everything included in this box is included in the iteration, right? So we'll run once for every line included in the table. You can add inside by clicking add to loop. This is one tab inside. When you want to add a step after the loop has finished, you're gonna go ahead and click on the plus here. So what have we done so far? Number 1, we have created a list of all of our competitors inserted in a table within Relay. Step number 2 is we have created an iterator that takes every item included in this list and deep research on the topic which we're interested in and reorganize it. The next step is going to be creating a nicely formatted report, send it via email, and optionally also create a Google Sheet. I say optionally because not everybody uses Google Sheet, and I want to make it an optional step, which you can or cannot do. This can also just work as an update you receive in your email every month, right? We want to create a nicely formatted report with all this information so that we can send it to our email, our team's email every time this flow runs, right? So we're going to go again to AI. I'm going to click on the AI, and then we're going to look for agent, right? We're going to create an agent that in this case is going to use Anthropic. Why do we use Anthropic? I find Anthropic, and this is just my personal taste, to be incredibly effective in writing text and making it sound very natural. So we're going to use Claude Sonnet 4.5 we have selected the model, Claude Sonnet 4.5. We're going to go do the prompt again, right? One more time, I have prepared this, so I just copy paste it, but you'll have access within the template we shall share below in the description of the video. One more time, we'll have to make sure that this has access to the right information. In this case, we wanted to have access to the AI outputs. So all of the results of the iteration flow. In this case, it would have been automatically prompted because it was included, but otherwise, just always make sure that this has access to the right information which you need. The next thing we want to do is to work on the output. These are basically the two steps which you always need to do. Make sure the output is within the format which you need. In this case, what I need is not fields, not specific fields, because my intent is to include this output in an email. So I want to change the output format to text, and I want to make it rich text. So it's automatically formatted, and my email is just nicer. Again, this is just type. You don't need to do it, but it's good. Once you get a bit more professional and you wanna, for example, send this also to your team, it's just good to know how to work with formats of the output. So once it's done, we're gonna click done, and the next step is gonna be sending an email to yourself, right? So we're gonna say competitor organic go to market, and then we're gonna include the date of today, current date and time. There's Predator. Okay, perfect. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna include the output of step 7. So what have we done? We have created a report with Claude, and then we have selected this to send an email to ourselves. We can also send it to any other people which we want with the send email tool. We inserted a subject which says what's gonna be included every month. Right, so we have the date and time, which is a variable dynamic. It's a dynamic variable which changes every month. And then we inserted the output of step 7. Right, so what this is gonna do is gonna send us an email with the report. Now we're gonna include one optional step, which is Google Sheet. Now, if this is your first time using Relay, you are gonna need to connect your Google Drive. It's super simple. It takes a couple of steps. I can't show you now because mine is already connected, but it's really simple. Once you go here and you select Google Sheet, you type Google Sheet, right? I'm gonna open Google Sheet. If you haven't connected Google your Drive, you will be prompted to do it. Again, super simple. What we're gonna do is we're gonna write this data to a new spreadsheet, right? So let's set up briefly the Google Sheet. This is slightly more complex, but we'll try to make it as simple as possible, right? So what do we need for this Google Sheet? Which list we want to write within this Google Sheet? We want to write the AI output of step 6. This means it goes to this step where we reorganize all the information and it takes the output of this specific step. Insert as rows, header 1 per element, absolutely. This is a right. Target folder, you can reorganize it depending on where you want it to be in your drive, and then title of your spreadsheet. For the titles of your spreadsheet, or organic go to market, and then always include, this is my recommendation, always include current date and time, especially if you're going to have different versions. So you always know which version is from which month, which day, or which week, right? So this is actually very simple. Once this is done, the agent is finished. And I am actually super excited. We ran through it in approximately 15 minutes. Let's try it. So to try an agent, you're gonna click here, start a test run. This is actually super cool in Relay because as of now, they don't charge you for test runs. They only charge you steps, but they don't charge you for AI credits, right? So you don't consume while you're getting to a version of the AI agent which works for you. What we're gonna do is, click on start test run, and we're gonna start it now. This is gonna automatically send us here. We see there is this nice flow where we see which step is completed, and we can also see the output for each steps while they are completed. We see that now it's running for step 4, and as soon as it's completed, I'll run you through and explain you how to optimize your flow based on run, and we'll check the results together. Now, it might be that there are some issues. This was a light build, so usually there are issues, and so we can also see how to debug those. If so, we do just a very quick debug session. Okay, nice. So while I was speaking, it completed a few steps, and we can go check the output. If you click on here, view output, you'll be able to see what was the input which was given, what is the output that was given by the model, so by perplexity here, the AI conversation. So all of the reasoning, the back and forth was done to achieve these specific results. The next step, step 5, was also completed. I can see it went to the founder, the URL of the founder, and found the last 10 posts as we recommended. Very nice. It's running the reorganization of this prompt. So let's give it a few seconds. Okay, very nice. So the flow has completed now. We can see that it went through all of the steps. You can see by the check mark here on the side. And let's check the results. So now we have said that this should have sent me a report with all this information. Then it should have created a Google Sheet with all of the information about the company as well, reorganized in a very nice and formatted way. Let's go to my email first. Perfect. So, okay, very nice. We can see here that he has created a competitive research report about Relay App, which is the only competitor we started for now. And it went LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, SEO, and blog. Okay, very cool. This is quite some content to digest, so I always prefer to check it in more organized format on a Google Sheet. Let's see if we perform this step well as well. Okay, very cool. It works super well. Let me reformat it for you. Okay. Perfect. So we see Relay App, we see LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, SEO, and blog. And let's check, for example, LinkedIn. Primary distribution channel, power of founder-led evangelism, activity of Carson Jacoban personal profile, posting cadence, 3-4 times per week, content archetypes observed, engagement metrics, conversion flows, paid LinkedIn, persona positioning, channel YouTube, the same thing, Twitter, the same thing. Okay, I think this is super cool. I will link the results as always in the description. There will be a tally link where you'll find the Notion when all of this information included. I think today's build was a success. I was very prepared because and I'm just gonna tell you now, this was my very first YouTube video. I hope you enjoyed. I can promise the quality and my ability will improve over time, but I really hope you learned something in this session, and I will see you in the next one. Actually, no, one more time. Please, I have just started my journey on YouTube. I would really appreciate if you can leave a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you don't lose any of the really cool build which we'll do in the next days.